spirits. These players are rolling. And it's a Mausoleum Wanderer off a breeding pool to start. Fetid pools is where Darby's going to start. Come on, leave the pools alone. What'd the pools ever do to you?
It's a choked estuary that cycles.
New card. Got to put a card in the graveyard so you don't get decked when you play your inverter. There you go.
Sure.
There you go.
I'm not saying there's no reason. I'm just saying, you know.
We got land number 2 there in Glacial Fortress. Mausoleum Wanderer is going to come in here for 1. And Wagner will pass the turn back over to Darby. Both these players starting their weekend off 1-0. There's a Thoughtseize. Arguably the most powerful card in Pioneer. It looks like we may have a response here in Rattle Chains.
I mean, we've gone this far. It's time. Do you have 2 rattle chains?
All right, there is Rattle Chains. All right, resolve the trigger on the Wanderer. Give it 2 power. Now sacrifice that to take care of that, and now push. So everything kind of goes the way that Darby wants it to with regards to cleaning up the battlefield.
Yeah, nice little turn there from Darby. Again, 2 really good pieces of 1 mana interaction. Able to keep his head above water early on.
Wagner going to play a Breeding Pool untapped once again, so he'll fall down to 16. There is Mausoleum Wanderer. Your follow-up looks like it's going to be a Selfless Spirit. So back onto the battlefield as our Spirits players. We head back over to Darby. Darby does have another copy of Fatal Push in hand, also an island as well for the member of Tempo Storm. Looks like Darby thinking island this turn. So there that is. And here's Narset. So the powerful Planeswalker is going to go down to 3. Darby's going to take a look at the top 4 cards. He will take a Fatal Push with him. The rest are headed to the bottom. And now will Joseph Wagner turn his attention to getting the Planeswalker off the battlefield or going after Darby's life total? I have to imagine you probably want to kill Narset, but that puts a card in the graveyard for Inverter.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is about as bad as a Narset can be, and it's still going to be excellent here.
So it looks like it's just Selfless Spirit going after Narset, knocking it down to 1, and Mausoleum Wanderer going upstairs to Darby. So wants to leave the Planeswalker in the battlefield. The draw clause doesn't really come up in this matchup here for Bant Spirits, and then, of course, that's 1 less card in the graveyard there for Wyatt Darby.
Yeah, really sharp attack there from Wagner. You do want to keep the card out of the graveyard for dig through time considerations. The only way that he really has to draw extra cards, I think, are a couple copies of Spectral Sailor. You can easily finagle that card around a Narset. And so effectively shuts off an extra card from Darby while also making sure that another card is not in the graveyard.
This will be an attack for 3. Fatal Push, which was revealed from the Narset. Looks like it may be countered via Rattle Chains here. Mausoleum Wanderer will also trigger.
If you're going to do this sequence, I was a little surprised to see Darby not do it inside of Wagner's upkeep, because nothing is likely to change pre-combat, but you got him 1 extra draw to Rattle Chains, which is now a major problem.
Yeah, Rattle Chains does cause some problems here. There's a card that many Bant Spirit players do play, so it looks like in response to Rattle Chains, here comes another copy of Fatal Push. So Darby's drawn 3 copies of that card. Looks like Selfless Spirit will be sacrificed. And ultimately, Rattle Chains does gum up the works there a little bit. Mausoleum Wanderer is still on the battlefield, so good work there by Rattle Chains. Temple Garden's going to enter the battlefield tapped, it appears. And I think Wagner has just another land in hand. And this is part of the problem with Bant Spirits, is that it does flut out occasionally because it plays so many lands, and the lands don't do anything additional.
They are not good.
Well, they're good at providing the colors of mana.
Oh, yeah, they're good for casting your spells.
Yeah, there's that.
You know.
Fabled Passage, the land there for Darby. He'll sacrifice that and get himself a basic island. Looks like Darby does have 5 cards in the graveyard now. And, well, 5 plus 3 is 8 all day. I think we know what's coming, my friend. Dig through time. So top 7, take 1 with you is what Darby's going to do here. And we'll see what the Pro Tour Dominaria champion will select. Indy not too far from Iowa, so Darby able to make the trip here. One of 800 plus players in our main event. One heck of a great turnout here in Indianapolis, as we oftentimes do see here on the SCG Tours. Darby has found the 2 cards that he's happy with. So the other 5 will go to the bottom, and Darby will just pass the turn back. We head back over to Wagner. He'll attack for 3.
Your round 2 pairings have made their way to the pairings boards. Once again, 10 a.m. sealed spectacular play.
But Darby's life total is not underneath enough duress for him to really start to panic as he plays a Drowned Catacombs that enters the battlefield untapped. And now he can probably just go towards Inverter and try to go about winning the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a really good chance this is good. You've seen no action for Wagner here, so.
There's Inverter. That's Thassa's Oracle. Can't counter that one with Mausoleum Wanderer. Not a great time to read this one if you're Joseph Wagner. But maybe there's something he'd like to learn about this card. There's nothing he needs to learn because he is just straight up dead. The 1-2 from Dimir Inverter, playing a normal game and then comboing you out.
Yeah, I think the Inverter there is powerful enough just on the battlefield as to be a reasonable test spell for the a spell queller anyway. Once you don't see it, might as well go for it.
So why Darby's going to win game number 1 here over Joseph Wagner. Dimir Inverter up a game over Bant Spirits. And now we turn our attention to the sideboards here for both players. And we will start with Joseph Wagner, who has 4 copies of Mystical Dispute, 2 Tomic, Distinguished Advocist, 2 Deputy Attention, 2 Dramoka's Command, 2 Settle the Wreckage, 2 Permeating Mass, and an Archangel Avacyn, a card that's great for the mirror.
I like the 4 copies of Mystical Dispute here. The rest of this, I just don't think interacts effectively. I guess there's an argument for Deputy Detention, but as you saw there in that game, Darby's game plan, I think it's a lot more about just removal, and try to do everything in 1 turn. And Deputy doesn't interact in those games at all, so probably just the disputes.
So not a lot to bring in right now if you're Joseph Wagner, unfortunately, though. This is considered to be a good matchup here for Bant Spirits as we turn our attention to Pro Tour Dominaria champion in Wyatt Darby, who's got 3 Legion's End, 2 Mystical Dispute, 2 Jace Fringe Prodigy, 2 Dampening Spheres, and it looks like 6 1-0s in Cry the Carnarium, a Grasp of Darkness. Thassa's Oracle has 3 main deck and 1 on the board. Oh, the Hero's Downfall, another copy of Narset Parter of Veils, and a Liliana the Last Hope, and you best believe that last one's coming in.
Yeah, I love the removal package here that Darby can bring in. The Liliana the Last Hope, the Hero's Downfall, the Grasp of Darkness, the Mystical Disputes, and the Legion's Ends, I think are all really strong here. I also like Jace Friends Prodigy in a matchup where you have a lot of removal to flash back, and your opponent isn't very good at answering the card, which Wagner is not.
Well, those are the options there for both players. Game number 2 going to be underway here in just a moment, but we want to take a moment or two to go over where we're going to be here in the first half of 2020 on the SCG Tour. In Columbus, we were watching some Modern. That's where we kicked things off this year, and it was the team of Zach Allen, Harlan Fear, and Danny Jessup that won our Team Modern Open. After that, we went to Knoxville, and it was Erin Barrich winning her 3rd Open, this time with Galgari Yawgmoth putting that combo deck on the map in Modern. In Richmond, we watched Ely Cassis, Peter Ingram, and Corey Baumeister get it done in Team Constructed. That's when Cassis was playing Demir Wurza in Modern, Baumeister on Azorius Control. We know how popular that deck is in Standard. And Peter Ingram playing Demir Inverter in Pioneer. And then in Philadelphia just 2 weeks ago, Zach Allen, Harlan Fear, and Danny Jessup. They do it again. Once is nice, twice is fine. They won 2 Team Constructed Opens over the course of a little over a month. We're here in Indy. And then, Patrick, as we announced when we were in Philadelphia, Regionals coming up soon.
Yeah, regionals March 7th. That'll be Modern, and you head over to go.starcitygames.com/regionals for more information. All information is up on the website right now, including the venues. So make sure to check that out and find the regional championships closest to you. After that, we head to Baltimore for a Pioneer Open, and then Modern in Syracuse the following weekend. That'll take us to Atlanta the first weekend of April, and at the end of the month, Worcester, Massachusetts. That'll be team constructed. May brings Cincinnati, which is Modern, Louisville, which is Team Pioneer, and then Philadelphia, which is Individual Pioneer, and that'll bring us to SCGCon Summer, featuring the Star City Games Invitational. That's June 11th through the 14th at the Berglund Center in Roanoke, Virginia.
Go.starcitygames.com/schedule for more information. Hopefully we'll see at one or multiple of those SCG Tour stops. We are here in Indianapolis this weekend at the Indianapolis Convention Center, as I've mentioned multiple times, and will continue to do so. 800-plus players in our main event. Edgar Maguiesh coming in here with 2 buys. He's sitting down in the sideboard right now with Nick Miller as they're filming a deck tech. Maguiesh has had a heck of a season. He's top-aided 4 opens in a row. We didn't have him in Philadelphia. He was at Players Tour Phoenix that weekend. But perhaps we see him make top 8 of another one here. Maguiesh not leading our Season 1 leaderboard right now, as that belongs to Zach Allen after his big win alongside Fear and Jessup in Philadelphia. But Edgar looking forward to start battling at the beginning of next round after his 2 buys. Wagner figuring out what land he wants to play. He wants to go towards a Plains for maybe a Selfless Spirit to kick things off, and he will. There is the 2-1 flyer. We go back over to Darby, who started things off with Fetid Pools once again. There is a basic island. And this is a copy of Legion's End, I would.
So a lot of what this comes down to, all these games, is that Darby has Dig Through Time in his deck. So if he can just keep trading off and keep his head above water early, he eventually is going to overwhelm Wagner with card advantage and selection. Wagner's kind of response to that, in theory, is Collected Company. But that is just a lot less powerful and a lot more challenging to resolve. So all these exchanges sort of look neutral on their face. You know, Darby cast a card, Wagner lost a card. But every time that happens, it's extremely profitable for Darby. The information is really valuable for Darby as well, because he has a sense if Wagner has one of his limited pieces of interaction, say Mystical Dispute or Spell Queller, or if the coast is clear for Darby to just race to the combo.
There's a Supreme Phantom after playing a Botanical Sanctum, so we head back over to Darby. Legion's End revealing a hand of the Supreme Phantom, the Eagle, and a couple of lands. Darby thinking about firing up a Fatal Push right now, so he will play this in his main phase.
No reason to play into Rattle Change or any other piece of interaction. So if the shields are down, good spot for Darby to take it to go remove that threat.
Here is a Mausoleum Wanderer. Now there is Empyrean Eagle. So flyers on the battlefield. Mystical Dispute looks like it'd like to interact with the Eagle, though.
And this is going to happen before anything can happen with that Mausoleum Wanderer trigger, so this is just going to resolve. And again, all these exchanges are really profitable for Darby long term, both because he's just got better cards in his deck, but those one-for-one exchanges, they all just give him a path towards Dig Through Time, and Wagner has nothing analogous to something that good, that powerful.
And up there on the onset from Darby is another 1-mana spell. He's played plenty of those this game, showing off the power of 1-mana spells here in Pioneer and in general when playing competitive Magic. As we head back to Wyatt for his 4th turn of the game. Wagner has not been able to get any traction in this matchup. Darby's sitting at a very healthy 20. Plays a Watery Grave tapped and passes the turn back over to Wagner.
I mean, we've reached the point here where I think that Wagner's deck is essentially Collected Company and not a whole lot else that moves the needle. If Darby can just keep making land drops and keep playing spells that interact at all.
Supreme Phantom, pre-combat, means Mausoleum Wanderer will get across for 3 points of damage. Darby falls down to 17. Temple Garden. We pass the turn back over to Darby.
And as you mentioned, this is the kind of the spot where Wagner is at risk of getting doomed by his lands. He has 24 of them, which is a lot. He has a lot of cheap cards. You typically don't want a lot of lands with cheap cards. And his lands do not do anything. Every one that he draws is just a missed draw step.
Darby with a copy of Dig Through Time in hand once again. Looks like he's going to play it right now. And it looks like Mausoleum Wanderer is actually going to take care of that, as Darby would have to pay 2. 1 from the Mausoleum Wanderer's power, and then 1 from the Supreme Phantom, making it into a 2-power creature. So, Dig Through Time is countered, and here comes Supreme Phantom.
Darby's leftovers there of an Opt and another copy of Dig Through Time. He was willing to just trade that one off. Again, it's another removal spell. It still did its job, and he can start playing towards the second copy of Dig Through Time that's in his hand.
Opt will put the top card on the bottom, so mystery card coming there for Darby. He'll untap those 5 lands and draw a card. Found a copy of Thoughtseize.
Good draw here.
Yep.
Good to know about what's going on, and also just another resource for Dig Through Time.
Rarely is one unhappy to draw a Thoughtseize. Again, maybe Pioneer's most powerful card. Just a couple of lands there for Wagner. And again, this is part of the problem with Bant Spirits is those lands don't really do much of anything. So you'd like to stop on land number 5 or land 6 and then draw a whole bunch of spells. And that's not what's happening here for Wagner in either game. Darby will play an Underground Sea, a Watery Grave untapped.
Well, now it's an Underground Sea.
Yeah.
Now it's the same card.
Yep.
You just had to take 2.
That's right. And now here is a main phase Dig Through Time because Darby knows that the coast is clear. So he'll take a look at the top 7 cards. He'll take 2 of them with him. Looks like he found a copy of Jace, among others. So other cards are headed to the bottom, and we head back over to Joseph Wagner, who will untap that Supreme Phantom. 2 lands in hand. He'll attack here for 1. Collector Company probably his best draw step this turn. Might be his best draw step over just the course of the game now.
Yep. It's the only thing that can really catch him up in terms of having just enough material to work with to slog through Darby's card drawing and removal. And Darby is sitting at a comfortable 11 under a trivial amount of pressure right now.
Yeah, this is pretty easy here for Wyatt, at least for right now. Now he's just got to find a way to put the combo together like he did in game number 1 to close out the match. He'll start with Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. We'll see if this resolves, and it will. So there's the powerful Planeswalker from War of the Spark. If you have no cards in your deck, you try to draw a card, you win the game. So he'll mill 2. He'll draw 1. Picked up a copy of Tyrant Scorn. Just more removal. You can also see he's got a Fatal Push, a Watery Grave, and an Opt in hand. So Darby's 4 cards in hand right now. None of them really combo related. No Inverter just yet. Don't think he really needs Thassa's Oracle right now, given the Jace that's on the battlefield. But Darby, as he plays that Watery Grave untapped and falls down to 9, can continue to interact. Supreme Phantom. Get some. How's 1 taste?
Slow way to do it.
Here is an Opt. Top card goes to the bottom. New card coming here for Darby. Does he want to fire off a Fatal Push? He does not. He'll untap those 5 lands. 7 total on the battlefield. Just drew a copy of Fetid Pools. Looks good now.
Yeah. Now it could be anything. Try to get something different.
Jace is going up. Mill 2. Dig Through Time is 1. Fatal Push is 2. Picked up a copy of Fabled Passage, did Darby.
Does he have a window, finally, to play Choked Estuary? Or does he need to wait another turn?
He'll cycle the Fetid Pools. Looks like he picked up a copy of Legion's End. You can tell after sideboard Darby is very removal heavy. He doesn't really have a sweeper.
Still can't afford it.
So he'll play Fabled Passage, and now he'll play Legion's End, targeting Supreme Phantom. Let's see the hand here. All right, we got an island, a Hallowed Fountain.
Sweet.
And a little 2-1
Geist.
flash. Yeah, the Geist.
Sick.
Looks like the Geist is in there.
Oh, yeah.
For how long is maybe a better question. Is Fabled Passage is being sacrificed? Perhaps to turn on the Revolt of Fatal Push. Yes, indeedy. Back to Joseph Wagner. 2 lands in hand. Oh, I think did he draw a spell? Oh yeah,
Technically.
the big fella.
Yeah.
Selfless Spirit in the house.
I wish that Wagner, it doesn't matter that much. I wish Wagner was playing his lands here because he's at a spot where he's got 6 on the battlefield, could play land number 7, land number 8, play Collected Company through Mystical Dispute. It's a small thing, but, Darby knows you got no action.
Yeah, so you might as well play him.
He's not bluffing anything
Yeah.
anymore, so I would just want to have as much mana available as possible.
Liliana going to get a little taste of a Selfless Spirit. I'd play that one.
Well, see, now he knows about it.
Yeah.
You got to play the Hallowbound tab,
sure,
and then the next
sure.
turn you play the Plains.
Sure, I gotcha. Giving a little bit of information away with
Exactly.
The
There's a process to all of this when you're playing out garbage time.
Liliana up to 5, Jace up to 8.
Playing perfectly in spite of being 0% to win.
Try to beat this Selfless Spirit.
The Tim 8 and special.
Ah, yes. Darby will draw another Jace. Jace is going to ultimate. That's neat.
Yep. Come on, Darby. And it.
He's trying, I promise.
I know.
There you do see Jace, Wielder of Mysteries.
Still can't afford to play the Estuary.
The -8 is draw.
Mana all accounted for. Because I cannot wait.
It's draw 7 cards, and if your library has no cards in it, you win the game. Darby's deck doesn't have a ton of cards left, but he's not at 0 just yet. He's going to go discard. He's going to discard the Estuary. No, Mystical Dispute's
Oh,
gonna
good
go.
sign.
Yeah.
I guess Wagner's whatever.
Yeah.
Got a million mana.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Bang!
There we go.
Empyrean Eagle.
Booster draft's broken out.
That's right. Hero's Downfall. Just point and click.
Good sign that was the worst card in Darby's hand to
Oh,
play
sure.
there.
Inverter has finally been found. It has finally been found, folks. Though Darby's graveyard is very large.
Yeah, it might, there might just be easier just to do this thing with Jace.
Hey, I might just play Inverter and say, let's go beatdowns. A little 6/6 party.
Yeah, could do that too.
You can go beatdowns plus zombie.
Oh yeah.
There's Drowned Catacomb. Darby's got 7 cards, and go ahead. We go back to Wagner. Big Island. Pass the turn back. Band Spirits draws this many lands. It's not going to win many matches, folks.
No.
Part of the problem with the deck.
Zombie party. Who's the tribal deck now?
That's true. Make a very good point. Elevator up to 7 here on Jace.
Ooh, second choke estuary. Can't avoid it now.
Bang, played it. Gotta play it. There's the battlefield tapped. Discard the other estuary.
Good choices from Darby.
That's right. Sharp. That is not living long.
Ooh, I like those odds.
Spectral Sailor.
So you got to keep playing the lands.
This is why.
It's important. He might cut himself off a draw here.
Yeah, now there you go. Hallowed Fountain untapped. See, people think we're joking around here in the booth. No way.
No.
Got to play those lands. You got Spectral Sailor to play towards. It's dead now. Let's go back over to Darby. Big draw. Inverter.
Quick count.
Not many. Couple of zombies here from the emblem from Liliana. Was that like 6 cards? Can't be many. There's a Fabled Passage. Plus the Jace. Milieu. Like it. Let's switch it
Yep.
up. New card.
No reason to let anything risky happen.
think you drew a copy of Jace Vryn's Prodigy, a card you liked in the matchup. Here comes Justin Parnell's plural of Commander versus fame. And a Cube aficionado. There is Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Thought about Mystical disputing it, decided not to. Did Wagner. Back to Joseph we go. Pass the turn back. Darby is zombie flooded. There's a Thought Eraser. Just wants to see what's going on. Spell Queller, you are not long for this world. It's going to be a runaway here for Darby, as this game will conclude here momentarily. Grasp of Darkness will take care of that. Thought Eraser will play. Mystical Disputes, plural, adios, surveil. I think Darby's just going to explain the multiple different ways that he can win this game at this exact moment, is what he will do. Why Darby going to win this game and match here over Joseph Wagner? 2-0. Dimir Inverter absolutely destroys Bad Spirits. And for the Pro Tour Dominaria champion and member of Team Tempo Storm, it's a 2-0 start here in Indianapolis. A